na after 10 years, actually, 11th year na ito ng express entry, diba? Nare-realize na ng IRCC na may mga may lumot na sa sistema na kailangan linisin.
Hey guys, you're in a nutshell with me, Ina. Pasensya na kayo, 2 araw ako hindi nakapag-post. Kasi nga nagkasakit ako. Naririnig niyo ba yung boses ko? Medyo hindi pa nga 100%, but I'm feeling a lot better. At meron tayo kasing mahalagang pag-uusapan. Actually, a couple of you guys already PM'd me asking kung totoo itong nababalitang ito. And yes, definitely big news confirmed from IRCC na merong mga proposed big changes sa express entry. Yan ang ating pag-uusapan kasama ng ating suking si immigration lawyer Lou Dangzalan. Hello, Lou. Ito ang kanyang email, guys, sa ilalim dyan. Nako, definitely big changes coming kung matuloy ito. Kasi, guys, ganito, may proposal at magkakaroon pa ng consultation tungkol dito. So, if ever, Lou, how long does that take? Kunyari, ang IRCC may consider na changes sa isang major immigration program. Consultation, when do the changes actually take place?
Well, they will make an announcement prior to that. Pero yung consultations itself, they will reach out to the typical or usual suspects, the stakeholders. So typically, they would reach out to the Canadian Federation of Independent Business Holders, for example. They would reach out to the Canadian Immigration Lawyers Association, the Canadian Bar Association. They would reach out to CAPIC, yung organization ng consultants. They will reach out to the Consultants College, and etc. They will want input basically in order to see kung ano yung magiging reaction ng mga practicing professionals in the immigration space with respect to sa mga proposed reform. Tawag dito sa policy space is white paper basically.
Okay. Naalala ko lang, dito let's say sa OINP, 'di ba, nagkaroon din sila ng consultation sa changes sa OINP. December nag-uumpisa, in-announce nung December last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then now, parang medyo finalize na siya. So it took like several months. But then we're talking about express entry here. This is like a federal program. So it could take longer than that. No? Binigay ko lang na example yung sa OINP.
For sure.
Anyway, ito ang nag-umpisa ng lahat. Itong post na ito from Canada.ca. Okay, official po ito. Posted several days ago, no? Actually, mga 3 days ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, regulations amending the amending the Immigration and Refugee Protection Regulations to modernize the federal high-skilled classes, federal skilled worker class, Canadian experience class, and federal skilled trades class. Ang haba, no? But this is pertaining to the express entry program. Ito po ang relevant portion. Okay? Since the launch of the Express Entry Application Management System in 2015, the criteria for these classes have become the minimum requirements for candidates to qualify under the Express Entry pool and be considered for an invitation to apply for PR. Amendments are being proposed to introduce a new federal high-skilled immigration class with streamlined eligibility requirements and repeal, babaguhin ng parang i-overhaul, repeal the existing federal skilled worker class, Canadian experience class, and federal skilled trades class. So, the way I understand it is papalitan yung tatlong yan at magkakaroon na lang ng isa na high-skilled immigration class. Tama ba yun, Lou?
Correct, yeah. So, siguro a bit of a history lesson here para maintindihan natin yung konteksto nito. Kasi before yung launch ng Express Entry nga nung 2015, in the beginning, there were multiple programs that you can apply to. So,
Okay.
diretso kang a-apply sa Federal Skilled Worker Program, diretso kang mag-a-apply sa Canadian Experience Class. So, halimbawa, kung skilled worker ka from the Philippines, meron kang 5 years of experience as a doctor, for example, physician. Tapos gusto mong mag-migrate to Canada, so you do the application for PR directly under the
Mhm.
FSW. Kailangan mo lang ma-meet yung minimum entry criteria for FSW to secure 67 points out of 100. Sinuscore na nila yung factors mo like age, education, work experience, etc. Pero iba siya dun sa scoring grid na ginagamit natin sa express entry pag nakapasok na yung CRS nga. Wala pang CRS nun. So once na na-submit mo yung application mo nun, hindi kagaya ngayon na kailangan mo pumasok sa pool at maimbita,
Oo.
diretso ka apply noon sa
Yeah.
FSW. Ganon din ang ginagawa nung may mga Canadian experience class na nakatarget naman sa mga graduates from post-secondary institutions in Canada. For the Canadian experience class, kailangan may skilled work experience ka in Canada. And like FSW pre-express entry, diretso ka
Mhm.
mag-a-apply. Now, in 2014, in-introduce itong express entry. So, ang nangyari, minerge nila pero hindi nila binuwag yung mga existing programs. So, within express entry, meron kang iba't ibang programa. So, in this channel, we've discussed this before. And in my channel, nabanggit ko rin
Mhm.
ito, express entry is not a program. Rather, it's an intake system. Kaya nga sabi nila dun management system, di ba? Yun yung
Oo.
full name talaga ni Express Entry, 'di ba? Pero yun nga dahil nakita nila na after 10 years actually 11th year na ito ng Express Entry, 'di ba? After 10 years and 11 years, nare-realize na ng IRCC na may mga may mga sabihin natin mga lumot na sa sistema na
Oo.
kailangan linisin, may mga cobwebs kasi nga itong tatlong programa na pinasok lang nila sa loob ng express entry, mukhang nagkakaroon na ng mga problema to meet the needs and realities of today, 10 years after
Right.
the launch.
Okay. O ngayon, balikan natin ano, meron namang short description dito
Mm-mm.
kung ano ang intention nila, no? Let's
Mhm.
put back that part. Sabi niya, the proposed changes could positively impact the Canadian economy broadly and
Mhm.
businesses seeking skilled workers by establishing a more diverse pool of international talent to fill a variety of labor market needs. Streamlined requirements would also ensure that the system is easier for clients, employers, and partners to understand and navigate. I guess this also relates to what you were just saying, no? Na parang may lumot na kailangan ng ayusin. Kasi nga naman 10 years na, no? Baka nga naman
Mm-mm.
kailangan talagang i-adjust na sa current
Mm-mm.
needs and
Mm-mm.
current, ano ba, yung mga nakita nilang nangyayari sa kasalukuyan. It's been 10
Realities,
years,
yeah.
no? Yeah. Okay, so I think ang biggest question ng mga merong pending application sa Express Entry o may mga EOIs waiting to be drawn, what will this do to them? Sakaling ma-merge sa isa, will they have to eventually refile? Ano kaya mangyayari sa kanila?
That's a question na pwede nating i-address sa immigration. Pero historically kasi, when they make these big transitions, usually may transition plan naman yan. Ang
No.
hope ko is magkaroon ng isang matiwasay at hindi naman disorderly na transition once na buwagin na nga nila yung tatlong programa under Express Entry. At magbigay sila ng matinding public information campaign. Kasi ang masakit dito, Ina, is kapag ka nilaunch nila to tapos parang kasing ingay sila ng daga, hindi maririnig, di ba? Ang problema nito, yung mga parang feeling nila safe na sila dahil mataas naman score nila, tapos nailagay na nila yung profile nila, tapos napag-iwanan sila, tapos hindi sila naisama sa draw, tapos biglang bumulusok yung score nila pababa because bago nga potentially yung sistema. So, sana maisip ito ng immigration. And I really think naman that IRCC is thinking of that particular transition. Kasi nga, maraming mga kandidato na nasa loob na express entry pool at this time. So,
Yeah.
ang question dito, automatic ba na yung mga kandidato na nandun na sa pool, ita-transfer ba dun sa bago? Or, ang
Oo.
question dito, kapag nag-launch sila ng bago na programa within express entry, ito ba ay kailangan ba gumawa kayo ng bagong profile, for example? 'di
Yeah,
ba? Yun yung magiging malaking tanong. Kasi nga
you're right.
alam din natin in the context of the digital transformation strategy of immigration, alam natin na magkakaroon ng parang super portal basically
Mm-hmm.
na parang portal to rule them all. Lahat ng types ng application, whether it's a study permit, TRV, ETA, PR, sponsorship, isang lugar na lang. Yun yung
Right.
dream portal ng IRCC. And it's possible that if they do launch the new express entry, dalawa yung possibility dito. They stay with the GC key system. But
Okay.
I also suspect that if they're going to take their time, and I think they should take their time to make these changes, pwedeng nasa bagong platform na tayo. Ano ba yung itsura ng potential na bagong platform? Malamang maididikit ito dun sa PR application portal na ginagamit for sponsorships or for the non-express entry PR applications like provincial nomination, for example.
Okay.
Pero ano lang to, hypothetical, hypothesis ko pa lang ito. Kasi
Mhm.
maaring idikit nila yun sa sistema na yun, dun sa portal na yun. Pero ang tingin ko, baka kailangan may pasukin ka pa inside that portal kasi express entry is quite different compared to the non-express entry. To be specific, for example, if provincial nomination yung pinasukan mo na nakuha kang nomination from Ontario, mag-a-apply ka ng PR, magsasubmit ko through the PR portal, gagamitin mo pa rin yung mga traditional PDF forms. I-upload mo lang. So para siyang paper-based application in the form na digital na lahat. Pero
Yeah.
itong express entry kasi direct siya. Kaya nga ang bilis. Yun yung advantage talaga ng express entry. Kaya kasi diretso siyang pumapasok yung information na yun, nakalink sa GCMS, yung Global
Right.
Case Management System. So kapag binuksan ng officer, itong file ni Ina Andolong na PR applicant under CEC, lalabas yung mga detalye niya sa harap ng officer na malinis na. Nandun na sa GCMS. Pero yung bagong GCMS, yung new version, cloud-based at powered by artificial intelligence, yun nga. So, magme-merge nito. Nakikita na natin yung convergence ng mga portals. So, abangan ng susunod na kabanata. Yung unang question mo, gusto ko lang i-address. Yung pagbukas mo lang. Sabi mo, gano'n kaya katagal to? Mahirap sabihin. Kasi, ang alam ko, pwede kong isplok ngayon, they're in the consultation process. I think napag-usapan natin to in the studio kanina na our organization, the Canadian Bar Association, was given until May 15th of this year to make written submissions. Kasi prinesenta ng IRCC yung detalye ng potential changes. And they went beyond dun sa pinakita mo kanina.
Yeah.
They went to the specifics. I'm unfortunately not at liberty to say what we've seen. Ano lang siya, naka-release lang siya sa mga stakeholders para i-limit muna yung mga comments. Pero eventually, mag-call out for public consultations itong immigration beyond the usual stakeholders.
Oo, okay so sinasabi ni Lou, actually, meron na pong details, initial, na ipinresenta sa kanilang mga immigration lawyers. But unfortunately, at this point, no, as of recording, confidential po kasi ito nga kanilang nakita. But definitely, Lou, marami pa. More than merging the streams, there are more, big changes upcoming, ano bang, kahit ano lang, no? Generic ang ibigay mo sa amin
Generic,
kung
yeah.
kang ma-share,
It's a natural and logical occurrence, sabihin na lang natin. Kasi kapag minerge mo, binuwag mo yung tatlong programa, yung FSW or Skilled Worker Program, yung Canadian Experience Class, at yung Federal Skilled Trades, yung mga requirements to enter the pool using those three individual programs, magme-merge. So, ibig sabihin, yung mga candidates from abroad, from outside Canada, they would not necessarily have Canadian experience, skilled work experience from Canada, which would qualify them for the Canadian Experience Class. So basically, ang ginagawa lang nila dito is magkakaroon ng one super program to absorb all of the qualities of all of these, three programs na sinasabi nga nila doon sa announcement. Ang siste, syempre, may mga incoherences yan kapag binerge mo lang na pinagdikit-dikit mo lang talaga, di ba? So, ibig sabihin, ang natural consequence yan, may mga matatanggal, may mga madadagdag na mga factors, magiging points for considering, yung i-consider nila yung mga points na
Yeah.
ma-accumulate mo depending on your factors. So, makikita natin yung isang malaking overhaul dito. So, this is big. I can't emphasize it enough. So, yeah, abangan natin pag in-announce na ng IRCC yung detalye publicly.
Oo. Ako lang to bilang observer naman dito sa mga immigration pathways. You mentioned potential changes no, na maapektuhan dun sa factors, ang sabi mo. So, I'm just guessing. Halimbawa, ano ba itong mga factors na kinukonsider sa tatlong streams na yan? Education, di ba? Nakapag-aral ka ba sa Canada? Kung meron kang job offer, yung mga ganong bagay, yung points given to those things could be perhaps changed. We don't know yet. Aabangan natin yan kapag nagsilabasa na yung specifics dyan. Okay. I can't help but notice also, Lou, dito sa announcement, yung official naman, ibabalik ko lang. Nakasulat dito, saan ba to? Ayan. It's federal high-skilled immigration class. Ang tanong ng marami, paano na kami mga low-skilled? Paano na yung low-wage workers? Anong magiging chance namin dito kaya sa upcoming changes na ito?
Well, focus natin sa nakalabas. Federal high-skilled immigration class. So, in order to enter express entry naman, kailangan high-skilled ka naman talaga. Ito yung mga tier 0, 1, 2, 3.
Alright.
So, yung excluded from express entry is yung tier 4, tier 5. So, I'm sorry to say na hindi maisasama yung mga food counter attendant. Hindi ito yung policy objective ng express entry even before and it's still not going to be kasi nga ito sabi dito na gusto nila high skilled pa rin. So I don't think it will be extended to tier 4 and tier 5.
Alright. So ang ending pa rin nila usually what path? So well, depende ito sa probinsya but like PNP could still be for some of them, ganyan?
For some provinces, yes. Yun na nga. Sa mga ibang probinsya, tumatanggap sila ng tier 4, sometimes up to tier 5 for permanent residents. There were some immigration pilot programs at the federal program that accepted tier 4 and tier 5, but a lot of them are, done or suspended. Iniisip ko, for example, yung caregivers. Sadly, tier 4 siya. Pero hindi siya may sasama sa express entry. May mga strategies, but traditionally yung ruta nila is yung caregiver program nga, di ba? In whatever iteration you can imagine. Kasi tier 4 yan, or NOCSI. Kumbaga, yun yung old system. So, yeah. It's very tight, unfortunately.
Oo. And, i-emphasize natin, would it look like, or does it look like ang priority are those inside Canada? It's not like hindi siya parang return dun sa old system na puro landed PRs, gano'n. No, it's not like that, right? Priority is going to be for those with Canadian experience.
Let's just say that I would be very surprised if i-shift nila yung priorities to outside of Canada considering the political context right now. Parang disintonado kapag biglang mag-draw kayo ng marami from outside, ang daming naghihikahos na inside Canada na skilled, na may Canadian work experience, na hindi makakuha ng PR. Parang hindi naman fair from that perspective, di ba?
Yeah, okay. Naalala ko nung nag-transition na from the old system to the express entry. Some applicants actually, or some people with profiles, I guess, received refunds, di ba? Para sila ay muling mag-apply dun sa panibagong express entry system at that time. Iniisip ko ganun din kaya, mangyayari din kaya yun ngayon.
So, what you're talking about is because on direct application yun, FSW.
Okay.
So, yung mga naghihintay. So, wala silang profile, pero may active application sila. But the government did take the extraordinary step to cancel the pending applications. Gusto nila kasing i-reset yung queue. Dahil umabot ng 7 years yung processing, Ina. So, sobrang ineffective na talaga yung immigration, napabayaan. So, ang kagandahan ng expression of interest system na express entry nga is yung profile is only valid for a year. So I doubt very much na magkakaroon tayo ng sitwasyon na the worst that could happen is makakancel yung mga existing profile. But keep in mind that those are just profiles. So government could easily say now, then create a new profile in the new system.
Right.
End of story. Yeah. Unlike kasi noon na kinancel yung existing application in the queue, di ba? They sued the government won.
Yeah. Okay. So again, guys, may ongoing consultations tungkol dito. Yung grupo nga ng
Mhm.
mga abogado, no, they're given until May. But the announcement says it will be until, ito eh, nakasulat lang, in spring
2026.
2026. Ito ba? Oh,
So,
additional
kailan ba
information.
magsa-submerge?
Oo. Pwede yata mag-input din dito kahit ng mga ordinary people, eh, di ba? Once
Sige,
it's out.
click mo yung public engagement web page
Ito.
nila.
Wala
Tingnan
pa nga
natin.
eh. Wala pang update.
Wala pa. O, ayan, tignan mo, baba mo. Ongoing consultations. There
Oo.
are no
Ito pa yung
ongoing.
sa category-based
Oo.
back then eh, yung last.
Wala pa nga. Hindi pa
Ay,
kasi
no,
public.
here pala. Ano ba to? Jan 2026. Wow, okay. Ngayon ko lang to
Wala
nakita
pa
ha.
nga.
Hindi,
Hindi.
category-based pa din siya eh.
Economic category-based yan eh. Yun
O,
pa rin
wala pa,
yun.
hindi pa updated, ano?
Hindi
Medyo
pa siya
ganun pa siya
super public.
kabago.
Yeah.
Wala pa
Oo.
yung link. But I think, kasi before, pati the public is encouraged to give their inputs
Yes.
here.
Yeah.
Oo.
Mangyayari yan. So, medyo binibreak lang natin na ito na may changes. Gawa nga na in-announce nga nila na may regulatory changes nga daw. So, hindi naman natin maiwasan na mapag-usapan na magkakaroon nga talaga ng changes sa express entry.
Oo.
In-anticipate
Teka
naman
muna.
natin to na may reform.
Oo. Ikaw pala. O, nakita mo yung pinopropose ng express entry. I'm just curious. Ikaw, do you have anything specific that you want changed? Personal lang
Without
to
getting
ni Lou,
into
ha?
trouble. Without
Ha?
getting into trouble. Honestly, I really like the language in the announcement where they
Oh.
said, teka, hanapin ko lang yun. Ito, sabi nila, streamlined requirements would also ensure that the system is easier for clients, employers, and partners to understand and navigate. Remember, ever since nagpapakita ako sa channel mo, Ina, we've always been like screaming at the top of my lungs, at least I have, policy predictability, policy stability, policy calm. Diba? Kasi nga kung ang daming pilot programs na nagkalat, ang gulo, 'di ba? Ang daming programa, hindi mo alam kung saan ka pupunta. Tapos ang daming changes na nangyayari na nagka-cascade across the system. So this is them responding to that. So actually makes me very happy that IRCC is listening to the to that particular critique kasi hindi lang naman ako yung nagsasabi niyan. Marami kami nagsasabi niyan. So hindi ko i-claim yan na akin, unlike some people. But yes, so yeah, like long story short, yeah, like my feel of this, ano ba yung gusto kong mangyari? Well, maging mas malinaw, mas madali ang sistema sana. Ang isa pang request ko is, tama naman yung step na ginawa ng immigration. I'm sure nakita mo yung announcement that IRCC is stepping away from evaluating PNP eligibility ng mga individuals who've already been assessed by the province. So parang sabi ng government of Canada, you know what, we will stay in our lane because the province of Ontario already determined you belong to that class. We will not look at that anymore. We will only look at inadmissibility and health issues and security checks, which is yun yung linya ng gobyerno kapag PNP. Tama naman, I approve. May mga reform na nangyayari na gusto ko, in fairness.
Right. Ako, sana, no, I hope all these changes will also come with, ano ba tawag dito? Mga integrity measures. Because that's the biggest problem too, no? Apart from streamlining, ano ba to, yung portal, fixing it, making it easier for everybody, I hope there are parang measures na added scrutiny sa applications to detect fraud. Kasama ba yan dyan? I hope so.
Well, one thing that I can mention is the digital platform modernization, yung DPM nga na sinabi ko kanina, and included na dyan yung deployment of artificial intelligence sa processing ng applications. And as it gets better, hopefully papunta nga tayo dun sa sistema na mas madaling mag-background check. So siguro warning to sa mga viewers natin, na dati kasi, yung mga applicants, kapag nag-a-apply sila for study permit, for visitor visa, alam mo yun, medyo, hindi ko na sasabing how-how, pero hindi masyadong sineseryoso yung forms. So, halimbawa, bibigyan kita ng example. Sa visitor visa or sa study permit application, sa employment details, 3 lang yung employment history slots. If I had $1 for every time I hear from people na in trouble dahil hindi nila dinisclose yung employment history nila in the last 10 years, sasabihin, 3 lang yung slots eh. hindi nyo di ba parang sinabi doon 10 years, so dapat 10 years, so ibig sabihin magdagdag kayo ng sheet, di ba? Ganun lang
Yeah.
naman yun, maglagay kayo ng kompletong table. Yun yung logical conclusion. Pero most people that, hindi naman most, but some people that I have talked to na flag for that, yun nga, hinihingan sila ng resibo ng immigration. Bakit hindi consistent yung application nyo from your study permit ngayon na nag-a-apply kayo ng PR? Halimbawa, si
Oo.
Ina, CEO of IBM from 2018 to 2022. Tapos, hindi mo dineclare sa study permit application mo. Ngayon na nag-a-apply ka ng PR, oy, CEO ako ng IBM. Diba?
Mhm.
Tapos makikita ng immigration officer, oh, points yan, 30 points yan, kunwari. Tapos nakita niya na cross-reference dun sa prior application mo. Oh, bakit sa prior application mo hindi nakalagay yung IBM na CEO ka? Misrepresentation ka, ma'am.
Oo.
Pagka ganon. So, yun yung mga convergence ng mga platforms. But also, the possibility here is kapag nag-apply ka, ito yung dream ko ha, if you apply for a study permit, tas ito yung nilabas mo ng mga employment history mo, nalagay mo sa sistema, pagka mag-a-apply ka ng PR, mag-auto-populate na dapat yan from your old application. Magpupush lang yung data into the new forms. Diba?
Right.
So, mas madali from your perspective, less opportunities for clerical errors. And mas mabilis din sa processing. Kasi kung clerical error lang yan, si officer, ang trabaho niya, i-bring up niya yan sa'yo. Bakit inconsistent ka?
Right.
Kung diretso na yung information, kasi in theory, hindi naman dapat nagbago yung past, di ba? Hindi na gagawin ng officer yun, di ba? Kasi na due diligence na siya, di ba?
Oo. So, mas madali ring madidetect yung mga ganyang inconsistencies is what you're saying.
Yes. And that is when you need to be vigilant about filling out your forms and be vigilant about who you hire for your application. Kasi common trope na nakikita ko dito, Ina, whether licensed or non-licensed, mga unauthorized practitioners, yung mga aplikante, hindi nila naaninagan yung kanilang application na sinubmit ng kanilang representative to IRCC.
Right.
Hindi
Ay,
nila
totoo nga
nakita,
naman.
maski anino. So, paano yun? So, parang tinatanong ko parati, paano yun? Pinirmahan mo yun in theory. This is
Right.
your file and yung responsibility is still yours. Bakit pumayag ka na yung consultant mo hindi pinakita sa'yo before i-submit? Yun.
Oo.
Diba?
Problema talaga yan, Lou, because Filipinos are very trusting, lalo na kung nasa isip nila, binabayaran ko na, trabaho niya na yun, ganyan yan lagi.
Yeah,
Anyway.
no, responsibility pa rin po natin yan, yung ganyan. Pinirmahan po natin yan, tayo po ang responsable.
Right. Okay. Well, guys ha, yan na yun. Upcoming changes sa Express Entry, hindi pa po ito in effect. I am sure more specifics are gonna come out in the coming weeks about the proposed changes. Again, alam na ni Lou actually yung ilan sa mga pinopropose na yan. Siguro kapag okay nang i-divulge, we can have another episode at that time. Okay? We'll end this episode here. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!